There is purpose in pain. Now, pain and suffering can either move you away from God or it can move you closer to God. The direction is up to you. God gave you free will. Struggling with God, no matter how bad it gets, is better than the alternative. God uses pain as a purpose to position us. It has a purpose. You might not see it now, but you will. Romans 8:18, for I consider the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is to be revealed to us. For the creation waits with eager longing for the revealing of the sons of God. This isn't your home and is not meant to feel like it. God's more interested in developing your character than he is in making you comfortable. He's more interested in shaping you to be valuable to other people than just be joyful for yourself. Pain is part of the path that takes us directly into the will of God. Look at Joseph's life. Joseph was a holy and faithful man. He did everything right and everything wrong happened to him. He was sold into slavery by his own family, then was falsely accused by his slave master's wife, was thrown in jail. Joseph could have so easily just been discouraged and gave up, but then he would have never fulfilled God's plan for his life. If Joseph's brothers didn't hate him, they wouldn't have sold him into slavery. If they didn't sell him into slavery, he would have never gone to Egypt. If he didn't go to Egypt, he would have never worked for Potiphar. If he would have never worked for Potiphar, he would have never been falsely accused by his wife and thrown into jail. If he would have never been thrown into jail, he would have never interpreted the dreams of the butler and the baker. If he never interpreted the dreams of the butler and the baker, he would have never stood in front of Pharaoh to interpret his dreams. If he wouldn't have stood in front of Pharaoh, he would have never been there to come up with a solution to the issue in Egypt. If he wasn't there to interpret Pharaoh's dream and come up with a solution, he would have never become the prime minister, the second in control of the world. Every hardship and dark time that Joseph went through was positioning him to right where he needed to be. God is playing chess with your afflictions to position you and to develop your character. Sometimes when we suffer, we just get bitter. We get angry, we're resentful, we're full of self-pity. Some of us get battered. We just get beat up by our circumstance. You're not meant to grit your teeth and barely make it through. But if you press in with God, your pain can just make you better. You become a better person, you live better. Suffering shows your weakness and also is another way that God disciplines us. Hebrews 12:11, for the moment all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant, but later it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. Pain is training ground for God. Dark times are a pathway for God. Dark times enhance the presence of God. Dark times make you appreciate the light. My pastor always says you're either going into a trial, you're in a trial, or you're about to go into one. But you have to know in your trial and in your suffering, God is doing something through that in you. Romans 5:3. Not only that, but we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us. Romans 8:28, for we know for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. Pain can either break your back or it can bend your knees. If you are struggling on how to suffer with God, focus on cultivating a thankful heart. See his mercy and his grace even amidst pain and trials. There is glimmers of his grace and his mercy, and you will see it when you focus on it. There's a pastor named Skip Heitzig that I follow. He makes this great analogy about a thankful heart. If you try to look for little shards of glass and sand, it's nearly impossible. But if you took a magnet over the sand, the glass would instantly all come up. When you have a thankful heart, you are a magnet for God's grace. It's all around you, but it's really hard to see when you're in pain. We get so deceived by our emotions and they become so much bigger and they blind us. Your pain distracts you from the grace that surrounds you. There is glimmers of God's goodness all around you. Focus on the glimmers and stop wishing away the pain. That pain is leading you right where you're supposed to be.